he said, I'm going to help pay your way, but you got to do the print and you have to do the acting stuff. And so I just really took to acting. I memorized the monologue and I went on stage kind of like this and in front of a room full of people, and I performed a monologue, and I thought, that was really cool and that felt good. And then at the end, they gave me a bunch of callbacks for it. And then I did. Actually, well, it was from that. 2 months later, I went and I was on That's So Raven. And literally, I packed up and I just drove out to LA. And then 2 months later, I was, already SAG eligible. So.
I went to I was born in Canada, and yeah. There's a lot of Canadians here, it's awesome. I was born in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's very vocal.
Born in Manitoba. Are you Winnipeg? That's awesome. We'll hug it out after this. And nobody can bullshit me from Winnipeg if they're not, because I'll know. But no, so when we went to New Zealand, it was sort of cold and weird and strange, and I wasn't very comfortable. I got put into this school, which wasn't a great school, but the one thing it did have was that it had, because I was a very shy kid, it had theater, like it had plays and shows, and because I guess because I could sing when I was a kid, I just got into musical theater there, like at the school, for lack of anything else to do, and I sort of ended up doing, I was 7 years old, and I ended up doing like a couple of plays a year, which is, I now look back at it and think I was really lucky. I sort of, by the time I got to high school and I was doing theater with kids, I was thinking, I'd just been doing it for a while, and so I was sort of always going to do that. And even when I got out of high school, I was, I belonged to theater companies for years and did lots of plays. Just to address your other question, what do you think it takes? Fearlessness and will. Like it's just like there's no. Anybody can become an actor. If you're cute and whatever. Like there's a lot of kids that we can all cite examples of. Like lots and lots of actors that become pretty. It seems pretty immediately famous. But to have a sustainable career takes a Spartan will. And a real devotion to an idea higher than yourself. I think that you need to be, if you want to, like the difference between good and great, like in any field is enormous, but you just have to not wait. Don't wait for anybody else to create your universe, I think is the most important thing, not just an actor, but any artist can learn. One thing I was proud of about being a New Zealander, New Zealand, wherever you are, and one thing I'm proud of about being a New Zealander is that, in the country I came from, when I was 21, I was on a TV show, one of the big TV shows there, and, I was on 6 months of the year I was working, and yet I was still waiting tables at night, and people would say to me, wait, aren't you on TV, man? I'd be, yeah, do you want your steak rare, medium rare, and people were like, what are you doing? Because you couldn't earn any money there, so I came from a country where you had to do it because you wanted to do it, that it was. And when we weren't employed, we made our own plays, and we wrote them, and we filmed each other, and we were constantly reading at each other's houses, and we were going to school, and we were studying, and we were building stages and costumes, and we were actors because we said we were, not because we were waiting for some guy to call us to tell us, hey, do you want an audition? The problem and the disease in the United States, it's a disease, is that the people are waiting for the phone to ring for them to be able to say that they're an actor, but really you need to be able to say, I'm an actor, and it starts now, and it begins with me, and I'm going to do this right now, and I'm going to get ready, rather than the other way around. It's because it just...
Yeah, I want to address that even though after I moved out to Los Angeles and I had a co-star role on That's So Raven, that it was still a long time in between, probably 9 years until now. So it does take a lot of persistence. And yeah, I remember I met an actor. I was doing room service, and I had to serve Michael Madsen, and yeah. I had to go up to Michael Madsen's room. If you guys don't know Michael Madsen, he was in Reservoir Dogs. He's the one that cuts the ear off the guy.
He's kind of scary.
He's really scary, very intimidating. And I'm in the room with him, just me and him alone. And I find the courage and I say, excuse me, Mr. Madsen, I'm an actor. Do you have any advice, like anything that you could give me that you know, carried me through. And he, without even looking at me, he was just like, don't do it. Are you ready? He goes, just don't do it. He's like, and he waited a while, he goes, but if you feel like it's something you must do, then do it. And I was like, okay. Okay, there's hope. And then I come to find out, like, that's the thing that all actors say to, like, new actors. They just go, don't do it, man. But if you feel you must do it, then do it.